Something I've found myself doing a lot of since I've been inside due to physical distancing is looking at some of my favorite places on Google Maps. I'll open up Google Maps and I'll look at places I've been or places that I want to go to and just imagine what it would be like to be there. So for this project, we're going to do a digital art project where we create an imaginary future. What I mean by this is this park. Of course, I can't wait to go back there, but wouldn't it be great if when I went back there, it was filled with puppies and horses? We're going to take something real, a favorite place of ours, or maybe a dream vacation destination, and we're going to transform it into a fantasy. The 3 things you need to include is a picture from Google Maps, an image of yourself, and additional images to make this fantasy more personal to you. So let's hop in and I'll talk a little bit about Pixlr. To start, you'll need to go to pixlr.com and click the orange Login button. I would make sure to have your email account open in another tab because you're going to need a verification code that it's going to email you. Once you click Sign Up here, you can type in your email address. I would use your Ankeny School's email address, and then you can create a password and click Sign Up. Once you click Agree, it's going to send you a verification code to your email. So open up your email, and you can, by highlighting it and doing the 2-finger click to copy, you can 2-finger click and paste and verify your account. This is really handy because it'll save all of your progress. So once you're fully logged in, you're going to click on Pixlr E. These are some projects that I did before. The first thing we need to do is we need to find our location. You'll type in maps.google.com. That'll bring you to Google Maps. And from here, you can navigate and find your perfect spot. It could be a park, it could be someplace you've been, someplace you've never been, someplace that you've always wanted to go. Maybe it's the streets of Paris, maybe it's New York City. For me, I chose my favorite place, some place I've always wanted to go, which is the Galapagos Islands. So I zoomed in all the way until I found approximately where I wanted to go. And you go down to the bottom and you see this little yellow guy. You'll click and you'll drag him and you'll see those blue lines. And when you release him, it'll take you to the Google Street View. So from here, you'll take your photo. On the Chromebook, to take a screenshot, you have to press these 3 buttons. And it'll allow you to draw a little square for your image. And once you release, the screenshot will be taken and it will immediately be saved to your downloads folder. Once you have your background image, your location, you're going to go back to Pixlr and click Open Image. Select the screenshot that you took and press Open. And this is what Pixlr looks like. We'll get into the tools on the left later, but the first thing we need to do is we need to get our photo. So if you have a photo that you've already taken and you want to put it on your Chromebook, you can do it that way. I'm just going to show you me taking a photo through my camera and doing it that way. So I open up the camera, and I decided I wanted to look sort of surprised that I'm seeing all the tortoises. So I took the picture, and again, the photos that you take save to your downloads. And the way to add it to your picture is to go to Layer, Add Image as Layer. It's going to open up this window and you can choose the photo that you took. Over here on the right, you have this box where you can zoom in or zoom out. So you can see your canvas here in the middle a little easier. As you can see, I'm zooming out so I can see the edges of that photo I took. And I'm going to click on one of the blue squares on the edge to make that photo smaller so it fits in. I can also click and drag the image to move it around, and up here, this little circle on top of it, I can click and drag it to rotate the image. So I'm going to rotate it just a little bit to make it look the way I want it to. But it doesn't look very realistic with that big old background there, so I need to find a way to cut that out or erase it. We're going to do two things. First, we're going to use the Lasso Select tool. The Lasso tool is going to allow us to basically draw a big old line around the stuff we don't want. So you can see it. I'm not going super close to the image. I'm just roughly going around and selecting all of the parts of that image that I don't want and pressing the delete key. And that deletes it. To get rid of that little dotted line, I can just press these two buttons and it gets rid of that. And then I can go in and I can use the eraser to erase it. So I click on the eraser and I can again zoom in on the image so it's a little easier to see. It's what I'm doing now with those zoom buttons. So I can get nice and close to the image, so I'm erasing it right up against, getting rid of all the stuff I don't want to see. I would take your time when erasing. There's no rush on this. You want it to look as good as possible. Here, you can change the brush size. By making a smaller brush, you can get even closer to the image without ruining it. And I'm just going to go through here and quickly finish the rest, and we'll move on to the next step. Now I have two of my elements. I have myself, and I have my background. But I don't have the extra fantasy element that's going to make this thing more personal to myself. So I had to think, what would make this the best? What would make this just the perfect reality? And I decided it was candy. So you're going to go to Google Images and you're going to type in whatever the word is. For me, it was candy. And you're going to put those three letters, PNG. PNG images are interesting because they can have transparency in the image. And transparency basically just means it has an invisible background. So if we look at these first two images, the one on the left, here on this screen, it has a white background, and the one on the right has that checkerboard background. Well, we want it to have the white background. When we click on it and it opens up over here with the black, then it has the checkerboard. That's how we know it's truly transparent, and we can two-finger click it and save it. And that's going to save to our downloads. But if I look at this one, for instance, it also has a white background, but when I click on it and it opens up bigger, it doesn't have that checkerboard. So I know that that one actually isn't transparent, so that's not going to work for us. These Skittles, it's white on the left and has the checkerboard on the right, so I know that's truly transparent. It's a little confusing, but once you get used to it, it'll start to make more sense. The next step, once you have all of your images, is to go to Layer and Add Image as Layer. You'll add your image in there, and immediately, unlike the photo you took of yourself, it'll have the background already cut out. That's why we like PNGs. It makes our job a lot easier. And this is your chance to make the image your own. You can move stuff around, you can add multiple copies, you can duplicate the image and move it around, whatever you want to make the image your own. Eventually, if you start to add lots and lots of different images like I've done, it gets a little confusing to navigate over here. So I like to use this merge down button where it makes all of the things I've added into one layer. You don't have to do that, but if you find yourself getting lost in all the tons and tons of layers, you can do that. The last thing we need to do is we need to save our image. To share it with the class and to upload it to Google Classroom, you will need to export it. By going to File, Save, you can choose which type of file type. We're going to just stick with all the default settings here with JPEG. Now, the only thing you're going to need to change is the file name. So just type in your first and last name and click Save. And that will also save to your Downloads folder. Once you're done with that, you'll have your image. It'll be a JPEG, and you can easily upload your image to Google Classroom and answer the 2 reflection questions. It's been an absolute blast to work with you guys. I've loved seeing all of your artwork, and I hope you have fun with this one.